Good afternoon, everyone. And yeah, we are day 4 of Financial Planning Week and 12 o'clock again, and another live session. And today I have got Mona Manzambi with me, and she's going to be taking us through elements of a financial plan. And somebody who's really good to do this for us. She works at Chartered Wealth Solutions as an article planner, completed her honors in financial planning at the University of Joburg, and is currently also busy studying her MCom in investment management. And I take my hats off to somebody who does a master's while they're studying. She sees a big gap in financial literacy in South Africa in the life of the ordinary citizen that does maybe not have access to a certified financial planner. And she hopes to reach as many people as possible through platforms like this. Obviously, her hope is to grow in her career and become a thought leader. And I think, Mona, you are already there by giving up your time and doing things like this. So let me bring you in on the screen. And again, I'm going to then hand over to you and let you pass on to people the elements of a financial plan. And
Thank you
I'll
so
see
much,
you
David.
on the side.
Okay, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Hi, everybody. Like David mentioned, I am Mona Manzambi, and I will be taking you through elements of a financial plan. When we're talking, okay, I'm just trying to get my elements of a financial plan. When we are talking about a financial plan, I think the first thing to answer is why have a financial plan? What is the importance of a financial plan? And there's four major reasons why I would advise anyone to get a financial plan. These being, having a financial plan allows you to give your money direction. I think the one thing a lot of people have a problem with is putting money in its rightful place. Money will either be a master to someone, or money can be an enabler. And what money is to you depends on how you treat the money. As a financial planner who is awaiting to become a certified financial planner, the one thing that we believe is that you give your money direction because money is an enabler. And it's very important for you to put money in its rightful place so that it does not become your master, but rather it enables you to live out the life that you want to live and to achieve different things that you would like to achieve. Another reason that I believe you should have a financial plan is it prevents the likelihood of you making an emotional decision. I've come to the realization that a lot of people make emotional decisions because they do not have all the facts, or they don't have enough information. When you have enough information, that gives you clarity. And when you have clarity, this reduces the likelihood of you making an emotional decision. And that is because you have got a picture of where you want to be, and there are definite steps you need to take to get to where you want to be, and acting emotionally could prevent or delay you from achieving what you want to achieve. Another reason I believe you should have a financial plan is that it helps you set and meet your financial goals. If you don't have a financial plan, you're just squandering your money. You might not know where your money is going, and having a financial plan allows you to identify and to set goals you'd like to achieve, as well as develop milestones to help you track your goals. The last reason why I believe someone should have a financial plan, mind you, this list is not exhaustive, is that it alleviates you of the stress of not knowing if you have enough. I think a lot of people worldwide stress often because they don't know if they have enough. And even people that have enough, we've had clients that have more than enough, but they think they don't have enough. And that's because they haven't done the maths, they haven't done the calculations, they haven't set their goals and their milestones. So they're constantly worrying and on that hamster wheel, trying to secure that money because they feel they don't have enough. But when you have a financial plan, you're in a position to track where you are, where you want to be, and if you're off, on par, or even exceeded your expectations. Moving on, I think the one thing everybody has to remember is that everyone's financial plan will look different. I think a lot of people get confused in thinking that financial plan is stock standard, and that is not true. Simply because as human beings we have different values, we have different aspirations, and we have different financial goals. And merely because of that, no two financial plans look alike. Now that I've gone through that disclaimer, I think it's important for us to get right into it. So, what is a financial plan, you might ask? Well, in my words, the financial plan is a plan that you put in place for your money, which to set short, medium, and long term goals as well as milestones. There's a saying that says if you plan to fail, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. So if you want to succeed financially, you need to put a plan in place for your money. As I mentioned, this plan is not static. And what I mean by that is that in life you have various transitions, you have various events that you go through, and this might alter the course of your financial plan. And having this consciousness allows you to not freak out when these transitions or these changes happens, but rather it allows you to just reevaluate where you are, evaluate the changes that have taken place, and then to make adjustments where need be, if need be. I think the most important thing to get out of a financial plan is that its aim is to help you achieve financial independence. A lot of people are on a cycle of dependency. We talk about stuff like black tax for those of you that are familiar with it, or for another term, family responsibility or the sandwich generation. You're constantly on that hamster wheel, constantly trying to make ends meet. And I think the end goal for having a financial plan is to help you as an individual sustain yourself now, meet your short and medium terms, but most importantly, also save for the long term so that you achieve financial independence and alleviate or prevent yourself from depending on the government and or your family members and friends. So you might ask, what does a financial plan cover? Well, a financial plan is really it's not so simple, but it's also not the most difficult thing. But it does require attention and it does require you to give it time. The first thing I'd mention is financial plan covers investments. What to invest in and how much. When you're looking at investment pot of monies, it's made up of two different categories. You've got liquid and non-liquid investments. Liquid investments would be like your unit trusts, your tax-free savings accounts, your endowments to an extent, your share portfolios. And then when you're speaking about non-liquid investment portfolios, you're talking about retirement annuity, pension, provident funds, preservation funds. And the difference between the two is that if you have liquid assets, they tend to be not tax efficient. So, for example, your unit trust is taxed according to your tax tables. You're taxed on your dividends, you're taxed on interest, you're taxed on capital gains. But if you have non liquid assets, they are not liquid. So, the downside of non liquid assets is that they're not liquid, as the term connotes, but they provide you tax efficiency because oftentimes you have tax deductions or you don't pay tax at all on these investments. Examples, as I mentioned, are unit trust, tax-free savings account, retirements, and the likes. I think it's very important to know what balance of the two you should have because oftentimes what we found with our clients is that they want to save towards their retirement funds because of the tax efficiency that they can make use of now, meaning that they've got a better cash flow because they are benefiting from tax deductions. But the problem they encounter then is in the future when they get to retirement and you find someone that is retirement rich. So they've got big provident funds or big pension funds or big retirement annuities, but they don't have enough liquidity. And liquidity becomes important because you want to go for holidays in retirement, you want to surprise your grandchild, you want to pay for a wedding. And so it's important to just find the balance between these two. And a financial plan helps you identify these. It also helps you just become aware of any tax implications of your investments so that you're filing correct tax returns and also implications on tax if you make changes to your investments. Another aspect that the financial plan covers is risk. And when I talk about risk, we're talking about insurance products, long term, short term, you name it. And the question here is, are you protecting yourself and are you protecting your loved ones in the event of unforeseen events? Some of these insurance policies that are very common and important to take out, especially if you're working, especially if you're young, includes life cover, critical illness, disability cover, and income protection. In a nutshell, life cover is usually used, especially if you're young, maybe to cover any debts that you might have because you've maybe purchased a house or a car and you might not have built sufficient liquidity in your investments to pay for that. So life cover acts as a good cushion for that. Or maybe if you're older and you have developed a life for your family and you're worried that in the event that you're not here, your wife or your husband or your child might not have enough to take care of themselves for some years after you're gone. Life cover acts as a good product for that. You've got critical illness, disability cover, and income protection. Income protection is something that we focus on a lot for younger individuals because you've got a long working life ahead of you. And should anything happen, you want your income to be protected if you're disabled, whether it's temporarily or permanently. You want to know that you've got an income that comes in every month that will help you sustain yourself and or your family. If you want more information of this, you can actually look on the internet or speak to a certified financial planner for more information on this. So I'm not going to touch on everything. Another aspect that the financial plan covers is the estate. A lot of people don't like to think of it because it has to do with death. But what people fail to understand is that if you don't deal with your estate, you're leaving behind hurt people to deal with it. And so it's important to ensure that your estate is, your affairs are in order, you've got sufficient liquidity, and some consideration that would come into your financial plan would include, do you have a will? This will determine how your estate is distributed. Have you appointed the right executor? The job of an executor it's not simple and it can take a toll on you. And what we find with many people is they usually leave a loved one as sole executor. And during that time, people don't really want to understand what's going on in the state or deal with the master's office, running up and down, seeing the master's office. So what we tend to advise people here is make sure you've got the right executor. You can appoint joint executors, so a family member and a standalone company that does these things. And this will just ensure that your estate is wound up efficiently and effectively. Another important consideration is, do you have sufficient liquidity? Because there are costs that are borne from the estate, executor costs, cost on debts, estate duty if applicable. And a lot of people don't think of this because they haven't been exposed to it. So a financial plan really helps you think out of the box. It helps you look at a holistic picture. And I can imagine after me saying this mouthful of stuff, if you've never heard this, it must be a lot. But that's why we always advise for speaking to a certified financial planner to get assistance on this. It can be a daunting task, but once you've got it up and running, it gives you peace of mind and it gives you a lot of clarity and direction. So if you're wondering, where do I get a certified financial planner? Well, you can visit the FPI sites at the bottom there, and there's going to be a list of accredited institutions that are ready and willing to assist you, obviously at a cost. But you give them a call, find out what they offer, and I'm sure you'll find the perfect financial planner for you. Now, if you want to look at some elements to consider for creating a financial plan, the first thing, as I mentioned, is it's important to see a certified financial planner. They have studied, they are experienced, they have trained for this, and they're able to pick up on a lot of things that the ordinary citizen wouldn't be able to pick on. Not because you're not able to, but just rather because we're trained in this field. So that's my first big disclaimer: see a certified financial planner. Going into creating a financial plan, I think the first thing one needs to do is you need to identify your position. And what do I mean by identifying your position? This is looking at your income and looking at your situation now. Where are you? How much money are you bringing in? After that, identify your expenses. And I think what a lot of people fail to do is budget. And budgeting is the holy grail of a financial plan. If you don't have a budget, you cannot have a financial plan. I cannot stress the importance of this. And the reason for having a budget is, like I said, you are directing your money, enabling your money to give you the life that you want to live. And what I like to do for myself is, when you're looking at your expenses, the three items to look at are your necessities. So this would be like housing, transportation, insurance, and the likes. Nice to haves would be things that you don't require, but it makes your life comfortable, so they are nice to have. So this is like going out with family and friends, subscriptions to like your Netflix and your DSTV, gym membership, club memberships, you name it. And then you've got an investment slash savings portion. When I do my budget, this is like a simple rule of thumb that I like to use. So if you feel like something you could apply, this will help you. So it helps you cover your daily expenses, your necessities, your debt, and the likes. It helps you also make provision for nice to haves, so that you're not just finding yourself saying yes to every invite which requires you to use your money. And then the third portion are, most importantly, investments and savings for short, medium, and long term. You need to be able to identify this, set aside money for this, and evaluate yourself to make sure that you are meeting your targets. After you've identified your position and you have put a budget in place, you know exactly how much you have left, and or how much you want to put aside for investments and savings. And that's the whole point of a financial plan. It's making a plan for your money. Second step would be, what are some short, medium, and long term goals that you'd like to achieve? So maybe short term could be you'd like to go for a trip to Cape Town. Medium term could be you're wanting to take up that degree or do that short course in the next 2, 3 years. Or maybe you're planning for an overseas trip in the next 5 years, or you're saving towards a down payment for a house. That could fall into medium. And then your long term goals would probably be your retirement. It's important that you're saving and or investing in line with these three term goals. After identifying your goals, in order for you to achieve these goals, you'd have to set milestones. So, what does it look like if you achieve your short term goal? What does it look like if you achieve your medium term goal? What does it look like if you achieve your long term goal? An example would be the short term goal. If you know that you need 10,000 Rand for that trip to Cape Town and you want to take it in the next 12 months, the goal would be Cape Town in 12 months, I need 10,000 Rand. Then the milestone would be, how much do I need to save every month to ensure that I have enough when the time comes. And so you set those milestones to achieve that. And when you look at long-term goals, you look at retirement, and you're young, especially if you're young, it might be difficult to foresee retirement, but you can work on something roughly, and this will change over time. But the idea here is to just have an idea of where you want to be, how much you think you need at retirement, and then you work out a calculation of how much of a lump sum you need at retirement to sustain you during retirement, and then you work backwards to determine how much you need to save today and earn interest on today. Make use of the power of compounding interest to get you to your long term goal. Another factor to consider is now implement the action plans. So you've set your goals, you've set your milestones that show you how does it look like if you achieve these goals. Now it is time to action the plan. And actioning the plan would be taking out the investments. Is it going to be liquid? Is it going to be non-liquid? What is going to be the split between the two? Do you understand the tax implications of them and the likes? And after implementing the action, after some time, maybe yearly or monthly, depending on what the goal is, you'd have to review and evaluate your goal. And this is just to help you determine whether or not you're on par, if you've fallen behind, or if you're ahead of schedule, and make the changes that need be, if any need be. And then lastly, the one thing that I've had to learn even myself is that you need to be patient with yourself. You know, budgeting, having a financial plan and sticking to it requires time and it requires discipline. And these are two things that are not easy for everyone. So when you do fall occasionally, or when transitions or changes or unforeseen events have happened, it's not what has happened that matters, but how you deal with what has happened that really matters. And once you're patient with yourself, you give the financial plan and your budget the time it deserves and the discipline required to achieve what you'd like to achieve, it will pay off. I know it's been a mouthful. I've tried to keep it as simple as possible. I do hope that you've learned a thing or two. And yeah, if you do have any questions, um, you can follow Finance for Females .sa on Instagram, where you can ask questions about financial plan. Remember, it's not advice, it's just a platform to help you understand your money better. You can visit the FPI website if you want to get in contact with a certified financial planner. And I hope today was useful. And yeah, thank you, David. I think I'm done. I can't hear you, David. I think you're on mute.
There we go. It's not a virtual session if somebody's not. Thank you for that, Mona. I just want to say thank you very much. And what excites me is, as we were discussing a bit before, and I've been in this profession now for 23 years,
Yeah.
and seeing some young people like yourself coming through and sharing your wisdom and sharing is really great. So thank you very much. I really appreciate
Only my
you
pleasure.
giving up your time to take this through. And I think what I got out of that is money is not a master, but an enabler. I think that's the
Yes.
sound we can end off with. And just again, on Instagram, you said finance for females is
Yes.
somewhere.
So I don't know if I can, let me just type that out. Finance for females .sa.
Okay, so finance for females.sa. Let me just
Yes.
put that in for people. So it's in there. So
Yes.
financeforfemales.sa. That's an Instagram group where people can get together and ask questions and just carry on the conversation too. But yes, also visit the FPI website and our consumer site, letsplan.co.za, if you are looking for a financial professional in your area. So again, thank you so much for your time. And I see Rihanna is busy watching us on Facebook too and saying thank you for your time. And yeah, all the best of luck with your studies and your careers. And based on this, I'm sure you've got a very bright future ahead of you. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you, FBI.
So again, thank you everyone for tuning in today. Tomorrow is the last day of the FPI Financial Planning Week, and we'll be looking a bit more at goal setting. So thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your Thursday.